While it may look like a toy, this is in fact the most advanced accuracy and trigger pull training tools you can buy. This Glock 19 simulator has trigger pull sensors, motion tracking, and a laser impact designator. This is the Titan X from Mantis, and we're going to test it out. I won't do a boring unboxing video. Instead, let's just take a look at the contents of the box. This is the new Mantis Titan X. This is Mantis's newest training device. It is a laser pistol simulator with an integrated Mantis X tracking system inside of it. And just to clarify to YouTube and the algorithm safety protocols out there, this is not a firearm. This is a laser pointing device. It may look like a firearm, but this is not. For example, there is nothing to load, no slide. This has no bullets in it. In fact, this is not a barrel. This is actually a laser lens on the front. And this is not a magazine, even though it is sized and weighs as much as a loaded 9mm magazine. But this is just a plastic simulator of a magazine. It's weighted on the inside, but there's no cartridges inside of it. And there's no way for this to load any sort of firearms cartridge. So this is absolutely safe to handle. In fact, it's probably safer than handling this Nerf gun because this does not shoot any kind of projectile at all, but because it is a laser, well, you should exercise that kind of safety awareness. With the laser, don't point it at anybody's face and don't point into their eyes. Even though this is a low wattage laser, it is still a laser. So let's go through this. Like a firearm, it has a trigger and it has a magazine release. And one of the key features of the Mantis Titan is that their trigger is pretty much exactly matches the feel and weight in terms of trigger pull of a standard Glock trigger. And I believe this simulates a Glock Gen 5, Glock 19 Gen 5, because I don't see any serrations on the front, so it's probably not a Gen 3 or Gen 4, but you know, I'm not a Glock fanboy. You Glock experts out there, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is a Gen 5. Let's just take a look at both sides so you can see that, yes, it pretty much matches the Glock footprint overall in design. Now, as mentioned, this is not a working slide. It doesn't move, and the only moving parts are, well, the removable magazine, and it does come with a spare, so should you want to practice your magazine drops and your quick reloads, which that was not, then yes, you could practice with this with really good similarity analog to your real magazines. Now, interestingly, this also has an integrated mount for optics on here. So you can unscrew this cover, and it has an RMR and RMSC sockets to attach either of those footprint style optics to this pistol. But we'll be using the iron sights, these factory iron sights that come with it. And it appears that these are not adjustable. So these are molded in, so there's no way to adjust the iron sights on this. To activate it, you can see here at the very top there is a little switch or button. You press that down, you can see a green light indicator. That means it is on. And if you press it a second time, it will turn on the laser pointer and keep it on. And this is how you adjust your zero out your laser, because mine was a little bit low and to the right. There are two holes near the front on the right side for elevation and for windage, and it does come with a small, I'm guessing this is like a 1 or maybe a 1.5 millimeter Allen wrench, and you can adjust those. This is the same size to take off your optic cover on the top there, and you can turn that off by tapping it, and when you pull the trigger, every time you pull the trigger, it will activate the laser. and this simulates a shot. So you can set up a target downrange, and you can see approximately where the shot would have landed when you pulled the trigger. And you can see there how well that works. And the trigger resets, which is great using this as opposed to other training devices, because every time you have to dry fire your pistol, well, then you have to rack the slide and reset that trigger, but this one automatically resets, so that's good. It doesn't have the tactile feedback of a gas blowback CO2 or a green gas airsoft pistol. That's the only thing I wish this had. But, you know, the fact that it is pretty much a one-to-one simulation of a Glock 19, pretty darn close, especially that feels pretty much exactly like my factory trigger on my Gen 3. So yeah, it is very, very close in simulation. And you can see in terms of size-wise, it is pretty much a one-to-one analog. You can even attach a weapon light, should you wish, to the front of this, so it totally matches your Glock 19. And of course, this will fit into Glock 19, well, your Glock 19 holster. So you can totally do your training one-to-one. But the important thing about this is this does not just function by itself alone. You use the Mantis software, and you can download that from their website. And we're connecting, and we'll see. Oh, we got to make sure that this is on. So let's turn this on. There we go. And it should have, yes, Mantis X benchmark drill. It has all of the functionality of their Mantis X system, because this has it built into it. So let's do one of the drills that we have here. There's a dynamic drill, ready, on-up drill, transitions, stripes, Mantis X, part-time, open training. Let's do that. Let's go to open training, confirmed, set down the Mantis and set it still on a surface while it calibrates. Let's not touch it. Okay, we're ready to start. And we'll just do a quick simulation here. And you can see, it can sense how my trigger pull, if I'm pushing to the left, you can see how much, yeah, there we go, pushing. If I'm pulling, too much trigger finger thumbing. Before we get started with the test, I'd just like to take a quick break here to talk about this episode's sponsor, Aura. For the cost of just a VPN, I'm getting a whole suite of security services, including $1 million in identity theft insurance, and they're even removing me from those damn data broker listings. Use my link, aura.com/moondog, and you can try them for 14 days, free. And if you use that link, you're helping to support this channel. You know, identity fraud is a real thing, and with AI, it's all too easy to spoof your identity. That's why you should try out Aura. All right, let's get back to the tests. The first thing I did was zero out the laser for a target 10 feet away, and I've aligned it to my iron sight so that now every time I pull the trigger, it lights up where the bullet would have impacted on that target. And since we previously connected the Mantis app to the Titan X, we can start training. And I can immediately see how my trigger pull affects my point of impact by looking at the laser. Finally a good trigger pull, and the best way for me to learn how to do that consistently is to make a lot of mistakes and to learn from them. And the best thing about this is that I can do this at home, indoors, totally safe, because I'm not using any ammo, and I'm not spending money on ammo. And also, unlike dry firing, I don't have to rack the slide every time to reset the trigger, so this is great. Before we get started, I just wanted to point out to our Google and YouTube overlords that this is not a firearm. This is a laser pointing device. When I pull the trigger, nothing comes out except for light. So that, and also there's no bullets in here. It is not a real magazine. It's just a weighted piece of plastic. So yeah, this is totally safe to handle. Just want to point that out. And also want to remind you, if you haven't already, hit that like button right now. And if you're not already subscribed to this channel, hit that subscribe button and the notification bells. That's absolutely free. And yeah, thanks for taking the time to press those buttons before this video ends. And I'd also like to thank Mantis for sending out the Titan X for me to test out. This is a really cool training device. Now, along with their Mantis add-on unit, there's really no better tool out there to really help you correct little tiny mistakes that you make when you're pulling the trigger that can affect your shot placement. Now, unless you have unlimited funds for ammo and a coach to look over your shoulder, even they can miss little tiny details of how you're pulling the trigger and little things that you're doing that you may not even notice. But, you know, let me know in the comments if you know the problems you're having with your trigger. Do you pull? Do you push? Do you anticipate? Do you have do you have those kind of bad habits? And do you know how to when you're doing them? With the app that goes with the Mantis technology, you can see in real time what you're doing. You can see where you're pointing your gun or whatever you're mounting this on just before you pull the trigger. You can see all the little habits that you have and make corrections and improve your accuracy. So this is a really cool training device. And by the way, they're coming out with some different models very soon is what I hear. So if you don't have a Glock 19, they're going to be coming out with like a 1911 SIG. I don't know exactly which models they're coming out with, but yeah, that's coming out soon. But if you're interested in the Glock 19 version, well, you can find more information in my full written review at moondogindustries.com, and you can find a link to that article in this video's description. So thanks for taking the time to use those links, and thanks for taking the time to watch this video. God bless. Moondog out. Hey, I'd like to know what you thought of this video. Leave me a comment or chat with me on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, MeWe, Instagram, or Locals. And if you want to see all of my videos, go to moondogindustries.com.